is a real explanation of karma. Something in me is undeveloped. It is unknown. It is incomplete. It's in pain, by the way, because it is. And it literally goes, hello, I need something that will show me myself to me. So it brings these events. We actually draw these events. And then we think we're bad people because something came we didn't want. No, there's no such thing as a bad fact about you. Period. Write it down, subscribers. There is no such thing as a bad fact about you. Every moment is a fact discovery, self freeing revelation when we can use it properly.
Hey guys, today I'm so happy to have Guy Finley back to the show again. It's been more than 2 years and I'm so happy to see you again, Guy.
You are a pleasure, BNS.
Thank you so much, Guy. So today's episode is quite special, Guy, because 100% of the questions are from subscribers. I have told them that you are coming, so they asked me the questions. So I'll be asking you such questions.
Perfect.
So let's go, Guy. So first question is how to overcome negative thoughts and overthinking.
The first thing to understand is that we're not trying to overcome negative thoughts and feelings, because that when we have that idea, we are trying to escape a certain aspect of our own consciousness. And we don't want to escape our consciousness, we want to transform it.
Yes.
So when we think of overcoming something, we tend to think, well, I'm going to resist this and I don't want to be a part of what it wants me to be a part of. So I'm going to push it away. And BNS, if you look at this with me and you act as an advocate for your subscribers, can I resist something and learn about it at the same time? Is that possible?
No,
And
Guy.
if you look at the question, you see, no, I can't resist something and learn about it, because to resist is to separate.
Yes.
To resist is to push it away. We don't want to push away these thoughts and feelings that are painful, because they are, in fact, a part of our consciousness. So if we're trying to push away our own consciousness, what are we going to do other than further divide ourselves and struggle more to overcome something that doesn't need to be overcome? Negative thoughts and feelings do not need to be overcome. They need to be understood. And there's a big difference between the two, because understanding integrates, whereas resistance separates and ultimately creates all manner of problems, as we all know.
Thank you so much, guys. So let's go to the second question. Like a student is asking this question: how to stay focused on studies without any distractions?
Hmm. You know, it's a really good question, because it runs to the heart of so many questions like that. Because what happens, we say, well, how do I remain focused? I want to get my degree. I want to learn a skill, an art, a science. But there are so many distractions, like we're blaming the distraction for our inattention. That's crazy. The problem, the problem isn't that there's a distraction. The problem is that I don't possess my own mind. All of these things have become, in the world that we live in, BNS, this great big long platform of excuses, because the assumption is that if something can take my attention, that it's greater than I. And there is nothing greater than my capacity to give my attention to what I want to give it to when I want to give it. So the struggle isn't to somehow or other, change conditions, find some little room I can lock myself in with a little light, where nothing's going to bother me. I want to own my own attention. And the truth is, until I possess my own attention, anyone and everything in the world owns it when they ask for it. And that's never going to allow us to be true aspirants, true students, truly successful men and women. Because the real successful men and women are the ones that own their own attention. Now, one other thing. You look at, and I don't know why Steve Jobs comes to mind, or some individuals who have truly excelled in the world, the Pavarottis, the artists. You know why they excel? Because they have the love of something, and their love is their attention. So when you really love something, you attend to it effortlessly. And I would add that if you don't really love something, you might be wasting your time, because when you don't love something but believe it's going to give you something, your attention will be taken by anything that comes along. When you love something, like the love of God, the love of the divine, nothing can steal your attention and keep it, because you know where your heart is meant to be, and where your heart is, your mind will be.
That's so awesome, guy. Thank you. So, next question is, can thoughts have impact on our health? How to improve our thoughts for better health?
Absolutely, our thoughts impact our health. I don't know if you know this old story, BNS. A man goes to see a doctor, and and he says, "Doctor, I have these splitting headaches." And the doctor says, "I understand. And when do these headaches come on?" And the man says, "Well, anytime I hit my head with a hammer is when I get this headache. What can I do?" And the doctor says, "Stop hitting your head with a hammer." See, you be the advocate for the listener. Let's say I have an enemy, and God help us to have no enemies. One day we will not. A man or a woman who loves the divine, who wants to know the truth of themselves, they will one day see the following, and it'll be so clear they won't know what else to do. Imagine for a moment, BNS, that there's someone that you resent. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, not important. Now, when I sit and resent somebody, does the person that I resent, let's say you're in India, or wherever you are, in Pakistan, I'm here, and let's say you're resenting Guy. Do I feel the resentment you have for me there?
No.
No. So what are you really resenting other than an image fashioned from a memory of Guy? So that when you lash out at the thought of Guy, you're lashing out at yourself, and you feel the pain of your own resentment. You feel the pain of your own sense of inadequacy, so that when you struggle with these things, it seems like we're struggling with the condition. We are not struggling with the condition the mind names. We are struggling with the name the mind has given something that we are now identified with. And that's the pain. And by the way, the more we struggle with that pain, the more sure we are that person or the problem is the source of it. And nothing could be further from the truth. So, in that answer is the solution to understanding, why is my health impacted by my thoughts? Because the more I think negatively, the more I am involved in a pattern of negative thoughts that are literally draining my body of its energy, impacting my immune system, and limiting completely my capacity to be an open, loving, free human being, receiving all the goodness that life wants to give me.
Exactly, Guy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Because recently, a close friend of mine also asked the exact same question. So I'm happy that the question got answered. Thank you.
I can answer it a little bit more if you want me to.
Oh, please do.
Here's I like to tell stories. In all of my books, I like to write stories. So here's a favorite story of mine. I haven't put it in a book yet, but it's a story I love because it addresses what we're talking about. An anthropologist, a man who studies cultures, goes to a distant third world country to study a tribe of Indians that he knows lives in the mountains with a host of other cultures that all meet once a month and bring all of their goods to a central place for exchange and sale. So he gets there and he's learned the language so he can interact with the people. And the morning of the big market, he gets up early because it's a 5-6 mile walk through intersecting trails to go to the market. And as he's going there, he comes over a little hill and then he looks down the road a little bit. And here comes something he can't believe with his eyes. And what he sees is that there is a donkey that has saddled a man, and the man is pulling the cart of sugarcane. And what kind of tradition is this? He thinks this is the craziest thing in the world. So he waits for the donkey to ride the man up the road, and when they get there, he says, "Sir, please, I'm new. I don't know the culture. Why would you let a donkey saddle you? Shouldn't you be the one that saddles the donkey?" And the man, like it makes perfect sense, says to him, "Well, it was the only way I could get the donkey to go to the market with me." Now, are we meant to be saddled by any animal? Are we meant to be saddled by thoughts that weigh us down, negative emotions that pull on us and make us carry the weight of the past? We're not meant to be saddled by our own mind. And yet we have arrived at a place where we believe that unless we listen to what this mind is telling us, which is you've got to get this sugar cane to the market so that you can be successful, so that in order to be successful, I let a donkey, a jackass, ride me. It makes no sense at all, but we don't see it, BNS. That's the whole point. That's the whole heart of my teachings, of all true teachings. The capacity to observe oneself as oneself actually is, and then allow real intelligence to make the changes for us that bring about a change in our consciousness.
Thank you so much, Guy. Thank you. So, next question is he's asking, I keep on getting negative thoughts. Does that mean negative things going to happen in my life?
See, again, this is we're touching on, we're looking at something very important and very deep, and I want the subscribers to understand that that real spirituality, the true success of a man or a woman. For instance, I don't know how much Christian scripture is known uh, in your world, but I know that you would find it in the Dhammapada and the Buddhist teachings, certainly in the Sufi teachings, that when Christ said, "What does it profit a man to have gained the whole world but to have lost his soul?" Do you know the original meaning of the word profit, BNS? To profit in this world? In the Aramaic, it meant to ascend, to rise. So, how does it help a man to rise in the world and at the same time believe that he can just throw his life away trying to take things from the world to make him feel profitable? Now, this is important. If I'm negative, as a rule, negative thoughts and feelings are telling me something is wrong, something is threatening me. I have to do something to avoid a problem that seems to be coming. There's something about myself I don't like, so I need to become someone else. So that all of these negative thoughts project a time to come when, if I'm careful, I can protect myself from them. Negative thoughts are not the what's the word I want? Negative thoughts do not herald a bad period of karma coming. Negative thoughts are karma incarnate. When I am negative, I am hurting then. When I'm feeling negative feelings, I'm in pain then. I don't need to figure out how not to be in pain later. I want to bring an end to the pain now. And that's the divided mind. It divides the thoughts, the feelings up into me and then that which has produced this, which is coming. It's something bad is on the way. No, nothing bad is on the way. You're in a bad place in your own consciousness in that moment. To see that and to experience it without allowing thought to try to tell you, go do this, go do that, then you'll have better karma. Go see the guru, go get the Shakti pot, go do something, anything, so that you're free of this. No, no one can help you bring an end to negative thoughts other than the light of intelligence that shows you you are hurting yourself now, but don't know it. Stop hitting yourself with the hammer on the head.
Exactly, Guy. Thank you so much. It really answered so many questions. Okay, next question is, okay, how to motivate ourselves when we fail
Yes.
consistently in spite of hard work?
I want to help everybody understand, but lots of times helping someone understand winds up telling them something they don't want to understand.
Yes.
Look, we all have in this life things that we want to do, we want to learn, experiences that we're interested in. A great man that I knew used to teach, he said that life is not a race to win, but a school for our higher education. We have forgotten the higher education part, the spiritual part, and have become involved in this race. And we don't realize that the motivation to become a successful human being comes to us from a part of us that not necessarily for everyone. Again, I want to say this. If I love something, do I have to be motivated? I, look, and it's not, autographs and sunglasses. You know how that saying, people think, well, you're a teacher, a guru, a saint, whatever, and you've got all this. So it's not, it takes work, but the work must not be to become something. The work must be to discover something in ourselves. So that then, when I'm actually working to learn, see, we work to earn, not to learn. And I get it. We're in a world. It's the world is worse than it has ever been across the board. Not better, worse. And in this world, as it continues to descend into this cacophony of chaotic thoughts and feelings, everybody pit against each other, country against country, religion against religion, race against race. We feel more and more insecure. Fear is rampant. The only solution this mind knows to the fear and sense of inadequacy is to try to further separate myself from the madness. And I separate myself from the madness by becoming greater than someone else, earning more, having more, being able to do more, because then I'm not part of the rest of that crazy group of people. I now have my own house, my own servants, my own Porsche, whatever it is that a person believes is going to make them free of fear. But I'm telling your subscribers and BNS, I never pull punches. If you want to be free of fear, the solution isn't through trying to be motivated to find a time when you won't be fearful. Let us deal with the fear now. Then, if I understand properly, I can go do that. When I was young, I wanted to be a successful songwriter. I loved music. Everybody has things they're drawn to. Let us work towards what we are drawn to understand. I get it. So many of us have to go and make phone calls and answer machines and serve the construction. And I get it. I have to make a living. I have to eat. I have to provide for my family. But let me not mistake what I do for what I am. Let me not mistake what I do for what I am, because the moment I mistake what I do for what I am, my life belongs to everyone and everything outside of me that has control over what I do. When what I am is most important, then everything that I do serves that. That's the task.
Exactly, Guy. Yes, thank you so much. How to control stress and anxiety? These are like common questions that got like repeated, so I selected
Yeah.
those.
No, no, look, we don't know what to do. Are you a human being, BNS?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
I am too. Why do I need a guru to tell me what to do about the fact that I'm a wreck? Because my mind says the reason I'm a wreck is because somebody doesn't like me. I'm a wreck because I don't make as much money as my friend. I'm a wreck because I can't buy new clothes once a month. I'm a wreck because, and I just found out I'm sick. I have COVID. I'm a wreck because I was locked down. No, you're not a wreck because any of those things. We're a wreck. We're stressed because we don't understand our relationship to the moment. Life is revelation. Life is revelation itself. There is no moment that comes into this world, no event that isn't the convergence of all that has come before it. So that in that wave of energy, in that wave of events, comes all of this material that is intended to awaken me to who and what I am in that moment. Here's a simple example. I'm assuming, BNS, that you get outside from time to time. You don't live in that dark studio.
Yes, I do go outside.
Yeah. And do you like to go and see beautiful things, nature?
Yes, of course.
Like where I live here in the country, I get to hand feed deer every morning. I've raised 7 generations of wild creatures. It's my delight. I go outside. I've got all this beautiful forest around me. Now, why do I like to go outside? Why do I love the beautiful light? Why do I love the ocean? Why do I love music? Why do I love those things? Because when I'm in relationship with those things, they are helping me experience things in my own consciousness that without being in relationship with them, I wouldn't know are a part of me. So that the moment serves, the relationship serves to reveal to me aspects of myself I would not know otherwise. That's why we like to go on these trips and see beautiful things, because suddenly I'm open to all of these new impressions, and I'm drinking them in like a fine wine, because they're refreshing me, they're educating me about my own consciousness, and they're full of promise, because look how beautiful this is. And the beauty is not out there, the beauty is revealed in me. Now, if that's true, and you're shaking your head, so you get it, right? If the beauty is revealed in me through a relationship with the moment, then why isn't every moment a revelation of the content of my consciousness? Because it is. So that means if I'm running from a problem, I'm running from revelation. If I'm running from stress and fear, I'm running from learning something about a consciousness that doesn't know how to drink in the moment and be delivered from itself. It's such an important idea. I can't stress it enough, but I think you get the point, and I hope I've answered the question for your subscriber.
Yes, guy. It's like the lesson repeats until we learn it.
That's exactly right. Because see, that's the other thing, being is we don't get this. The consciousness, which isn't being, it's not just yours and it's not just mine and it's not just the subscribers. The consciousness itself wants to develop. Consciousness, not my consciousness, not your consciousness itself wants to develop. It wants to know all that it can about itself. Every moment is a moment of education for this consciousness when it is allowed to use the moment that reveals it to itself. So when we start to understand that, we stop being afraid. We recognize something in me. This is what they call karma. This is a real explanation of karma. Something in me is undeveloped. It is unknown. It is incomplete. It's in pain, by the way, because it is. And it literally goes, hello, I need something that will show me myself to me. So it brings these events. We actually draw these events. And then we think we're bad people because something came we didn't want. No, there's no such thing as a bad fact about you, period. Write it down, subscribers. There is no such thing as a bad fact about you. Every moment is a fact discovery, self freeing revelation when we can use it properly.
That's so awesome, guy. Thank you. Thank you so much. Guy, next question is how to get better at decision making?
How to get better at decision making. Again, it's a fairly deep question. And on the simplest level, get a piece of paper and write down pro and con, for and against, and make a little list. That's the simplest level. That's not going to end the pain. Because you and I both know we can sit there and be tormented about a decision we have to make. And finally, okay, that's it. And then the next morning we wake up and our mind is still going, but what about this? And what about that? And what if this happens? Why do you think that is, BNS?
Um, Maybe we are going against our consciousness or something like.
Yeah. We just can't believe that our mind is divided and that it literally can't help but torment itself. It literally can't. I mean, the evidence is there. We don't like to hear that the donkey is riding me and using spurs and a whip. But whose donkey is it? Saint Francis used to call himself the jackass. This beautiful saint used to call himself the jackass. Well, because in us is a consciousness. In the other, what they call it, nefesh, all these different words for a lower level of consciousness. It cannot be it cannot be satisfied. It cannot be satisfied. It only knows temporary peace. Like when a battlefield has the end of shelling for an evening, that's the peace that we know. And our decisions are always an attempt to get to a place where we can be at peace. But we fail to recognize that no more do we make the decision than A, we're not at peace anymore. And B, when we follow through the decision, oh, another decision has to be made. So we're always caught up in this consciousness that is forever trying to do what? Trying to figure out how to be at peace with itself. Trying to figure out how to live up to an image it has of itself. Trying to figure out how it can finally get its hand on security and never be afraid again. That consciousness cannot do that. But within us is another order of consciousness, another order of being that is intended to ride the donkey instead of the donkey ride us. And when the order is correct, then we can go about doing in the world what we want to do, using it to learn the things that we can learn. But until then, we don't learn, we burn because everything is this hot question. What do I do? My life is at stake. And it can be something as simple as whether do I get French fries or a milkshake, because that'll drive us mad too, right?
Yes. Yes, Guy. Exactly. Yes. So, Guy, next question is how to deal with toxic people at work. For example, a toxic boss.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed, BNS, that you're the only non toxic person in the whole world? I'm not saying that the boss isn't toxic. Of course. Let me shift this a little bit. Every human being on this planet, I don't care who he is, what she has, where they are, what they've achieved, every human being on this planet is in pain. Period. We just don't know we're in pain because this consciousness is always telling us there is a pleasure or a power or a possession around the bend, and then the pain will be abated. You won't feel insecure anymore. You won't worry what people are thinking about you. You won't have to worry about whether this, that, or the other that took place 20 years ago is going to repeat itself, because now you're above all of that. Your boss is in pain. Period. It is our pain that makes us toxic. And it makes us toxic because we don't know what to do with the pain. So, what happens when two people who are in pain get together? In the world and the way we see things is that I want to get to the job above my boss. I want to get above the toxic person so that then I can make them feel what they have made me feel. And we say, well, I wouldn't be like that. But if you study yourself, wherever we are, we're always in a scramble to be the man on top, the woman on top, so that we don't have to deal with those people that have punished us. So here's a very deep answer. The only problem that we have with any other human being on this planet is what we want from them. And there is no other problem. And what we want from most other human beings is for them to stop causing us the pain that we blame them for. But when we understand that those who produce in us this pain, and I'm not saying you can escape that, then we can start to use our awareness of our own pain to change the way we respond to the people who are in pain. And when we don't meet the toxic boss with our toxic expression or our phony baloney smile, like, oh, sure, I'll do that, while inwardly we're hating him, the energies don't lie. And so you have constant conflict between human beings, each one blaming the other for being unkind, insensitive, cruel, demanding, and all the rest of that. Let us, as Christ said, physician, heal thyself. Let us go to work and learn how to transform this consciousness that has this pain, that blames everyone for it, so that then we become innocent, true, decent human beings. And then you will help your boss, not with the job he gives you to do, but you will give him a chance to see what kind of man or woman he or she is. Because when you don't fight, what's he left with? Who's he going to blame for? Because he thinks you're toxic. You are innocent. You are a mirror. He will see himself and have a chance to become another kind of human being if you do your work.
Exactly, Guy. Like it's like we become mirror so that they can literally see themselves. Awesome.
Exactly.
That's so
It is
awesome.
awesome.
Yes, it is awesome.
It is awesome.
Thank
You
you.
and I could just hear and go, awesome, awesome, awesome,
Yes.
awesome.
Yes, Guy. Thank you. Thank you so much. So next, okay, they're asking similar question, but regarding negative thoughts. So
Sure.
can you give us any practical tool to come out of negative thought loop or depression instantly?
you be the advocate for the subscriber. Have you ever inadvertently been cooking in the kitchen? I did this just last week, and I was cooking something, and I thought, because I was impatient, that I didn't want to burn it, so I thought I could flip it real quick using my fingers.
But
You probably can't you probably can't see the blister on the end of my finger. Now, do do I need somebody to say, Guy, look, your finger is on fire? Or when I'm in pain, does my body respond instantly because it won't hurt itself deliberately, right?
yes,
Well, why wouldn't my consciousness be the same?
interesting.
If I pick up a hateful thought, who's getting burned? Me. If I pick up a fearful thought, who's full of the fear? Me. So the task isn't to try to figure out a way around the problem. The task is to be connected intimately to the consciousness that can't see itself in that moment. All of our pain is due to a lack of awareness. That means the solution to all of our pain is in the awareness of the pain. Rumi, this beautiful saint that lived, he said, the antidote is in the venom. The antidote isn't in getting you not to be toxic. The antidote is in the fact that there's something in me that only knows how to get toxic when other people are toxic, that only knows how to think to itself, what do I do with this pain? I'm on fire. If I see I'm in pain, let me remain aware of the pain that I'm in so that I can begin to see the consciousness that believes somehow or other there's a time coming when I won't worry. There is no time coming when you're not going to worry. I'm telling you. Now, look, I'm 73 years old. You're still a pup, but I'm saying that one day you will see for a fact there is no day to come when you won't be afraid. You either know how to use the moment to transform the consciousness that can't help but be afraid because it's so identified and attached to things, or you don't. And this life is this gradual, and it is, process of instantaneously awakening to these parts of ourselves that are punishing us. And the more I see the donkey's on me and it's whipping me, I'm going to one day say, you know what? No more donkey riding me. No more fear telling me what to do. No more worry about you causing me to fawn and compromise myself. No more. Then you will be on the real road to true profitability.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, what not to do while raising children?
Yeah. When I pause like this, it's because I'm I'm filled with these waves of a certain kind of sorrow. What happened to us? Why don't I know what it is to be kind without thinking about kindness? Why don't I know what it means to be patient with toxic people without having to have a plan about how to deal with them? Why don't I know how to raise children? Was I not a child myself? Did I not go through every iteration that child is going to go through? Did I not learn from myself growing up? You see, and unfortunately, the answer is we did all of that, but it's buried. We want people to approve of the way we raise our children. I mean, I start yelling right now if we weren't doing a video. What has happened that if you don't think I'm doing a good job of raising my children, that I feel like I'm a bad person? Let me be responsible for what I have, my relationship with my children. Do children? d- Do you have any children, BNS? Or have you? Are
I'm
you
not
no?
married yet.
Okay, all right. I have a daughter. My daughter knows when I'm telling the truth. She may not think to herself, oh, he's trying to get me to do something that he wants me to do. But we know that without thinking about it. A child spots a fake like that. I remember there were some of my relatives, my mother and father always, they just would punish me because I didn't want to be touched by some of them. I literally did not want to be touched by some of them. And of course, come to get older, and then you realize, you actually see, yes, these people, there was something very wrong with them. A child knows it. Child can't say, listen, you're a psychotic, stay away from me, and it wouldn't be polite to do that anyway. But a child knows. A child knows. So be a true human being. If you learn in the moment something about yourself when you're interacting with your child will learn something about himself or herself. It's built into it. We want our children to love us, but we don't know what love is. And the reason we don't know what love is because we enable our children by telling them, yes, go do this, giving them all of this, because if they don't love us, that means I'm not a loving person. No, sometimes to be a loving human being means to flat out say, no, that's not going to happen. And if you don't like it, you're going to have to deal with it. Because then the child's going to turn and hate me because I hate you. And I can't bear the thought of being hated. But if what I'm doing is out of what is true, and I'm being true to myself and I'm being true to the child, how can something bad come out of what is good? It's impossible. So we have to go through a learning curve ourselves. We want our children to learn the way we learned, and we learned nothing. We learned to follow rules. And the rules were given to us by our culture, our environment, our politics, our religion. And we become messed up because we keep trying to live up to rules that we believe if we can't live up to the image of the rule, then we are an outlaw. So we live all the time in fear of breaking some law that we didn't even make ourselves. We do the same thing to our children. So this is a big, long answer. Let us work to be awake, aware, sensitive human beings. Kindness, intelligence, understanding, and discipline will follow naturally.
Exactly, guy. Exactly. It's like once we start to become aware of ourselves, we automatically make others aware of themselves.
Yes. They can then, that child knows. Because let's say, and we're not, and here's another thing, I am not saying don't get angry with your kid. You can't not get angry. You are, as we are right now, it takes I was going to say 1,000 years, but I don't want to intimate anything here. It takes a very long time before a man or a woman can be ahead of their own negative reaction. We are created to be ahead of our own negative reactions. But for now, what we must do is realize, but wow, I just got angry. I am going to bear my own anger patiently. And if my child sees that I start to get angry and then I pull back and I'm struggling with my own anger, that child will see something that child may see nowhere else on the planet, which is his parent trying to be another kind of human being in that moment. And the child who is getting ready to meet your anger with anger won't know exactly what to do. And then that child will be ready for a new kind of lesson. And the whole thing will feed itself into something freeing and good.
Yes, guy. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. Thank you.
The original meaning of the word patience. Subscribers, you may want to write this down because part of it is I don't know how to be patient with my child because they're driving me nuts. The original meaning of the word patience is to suffer yourself. That's the real meaning of patience, not sit here and clench my jaw and think about how I'm going to get past this or how I'm going to fix you and make you do. No, I'm going to suffer myself. And then I will learn about myself. And when I learn about myself, I learn about you and you learn about you, because now I'm not part of that pattern of punishment.
Very interesting, Guy.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
So
BNS.
I have been getting so many questions like that, but I will still ask you so that it will
Yeah, yeah.
give us new
There's
ideas.
no bad question.
Yes. So next question is how to deal with misunderstandings in a relationship.
Mm. Do you know what a crucible is? You know, in the old days, actually quite traditional in your culture, not so much here anymore. Although the herbalists, they would take a stone deal and yeah, and they would
Yes.
grind
Yes.
the herbs and
Yes.
the
Yes.
medicines. That's a crucible. The crucible integrates all of the material in it. You and I are human crucibles. Everything is meant to be integrated, but something has to be the pedestal. So, someone, some moment, some event has to be what brings this together and then starts to grind on it. So that you think about a jeweler and a jewel. Can a jewel become a beautiful diamond without something grinding on it?
No.
It has to be polished. The soul has to be polished. Relationships are ways in which, when a man or a woman, when a couple understands that they are there to help each other grow, not to rely on each other to be the source of their happiness, which is insanity. The reason there's misunderstanding is because I have a list of demands that you haven't answered yet. And you don't know that you live with this list of demands. I come into this relationship with demands. You come into a relationship with me with demands. And when we first meet, when we first meet, it's all about I'm going to give you everything. I'm there for you because I want the sex, I want the companionship. I also want the feeling of myself I didn't have until you came into my life. Like this is a miracle. I didn't know I could feel like this. And everybody's bubbly and happy. But as that wears on, then the lists begin to pop up. And then, then the little thing that you thought you would overlook in that person then becomes all that you see. It becomes the whole thing. So when you see that person, you don't see all the beautiful, loving stuff. You see that little irksome habit they have, the way they throw their head, or the way they eat their food, or a beauty mark. You just you're like laser focused. That's it. Let us understand the task is to allow everyone in our life to help us discover ourselves. Because when I realize, because let's get down to brass tacks, what is a misunderstanding between you and me other than you are making me feel something I don't want to feel? Isn't that a misunderstanding? You're not living up to your contract, which by the way we never wrote out, we never signed anything other than through sickness and health and all that business. Give your partner space. That's my answer. Give them room to be who and what they are. Now, the only way that you will be able to give your partner room to be who and what he or she is with patience. And the only way you'll have that patience is when you start to understand it feels like you're making me suffer. But what you're really helping me understand is that there's something in me that has this demand, and the demand is the source of the suffering, not what you are doing or not doing.
It's good. Yes, totally. Because I have received so many questions. Like, for example, a person asked me that my partner like keeps on, like keep using his phone and he's not like talking with me. He's addicted to his phone. So, what should I do? Something like that.
Yeah, but no, but that's look, and why are we like that? So let's do this. Have you said to your partner, because you should, you know what? Can we just sit here without, can we just be with each other? My wife and I have a rule: no phones at the table. And why, by the way, is your partner, or why are you using your phone? We don't know how to be with each other quietly. We think there's something wrong if there's not a bunch of words being exchanged. And we grew up looking at mom and dad sitting across from the table at each other, not talking, tension, stress. We have to start over, BNS.
Yes,
We
guy.
can't look to the past. Say something to your partner. I would love, at least for a while, can we just sit here? If we don't have anything to say, can we just sit here and watch ourselves? See how different it is? We want something outside of ourselves to distract us. Let us be more concerned with the part of us that doesn't know who it is without being distracted. Then we have a chance to change ourselves and our partners and the world that we live in as well.
Yes, guy. Exactly. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it?
Yes. It's hard.
this
Yes.
is it's tough stuff. This beautiful man I knew, he was a saint. I had got to spend 15 years with him. He said, "The medicine is bitter, but it heals." I'm not saying this is sweet stuff, but it will deliver you to a certain state of surrendering yourself where you'll begin to realize that it is possible to be a human being that doesn't walk around negatively, that isn't afraid all the time, that knows what it means to be kind, because the kindness begins with ending this unkindness inside of ourselves. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, guy. So, yeah. Next question is how to deal with haters who have ill intention.
I'll tell you personally how I deal with that. I would no more spend 10 seconds around somebody that is full of hate than I would go looking for a great white shark to give me a ferry ride across the ocean. Why do I spend time with haters if I do? And the answer is I want something from them. Why do I spend time with anything? I'm drawn to it. There's something in me that I don't see that actually wants the approval of people that hate me. I actually want I sit and all day long, I'm thinking about this guy at the office that I resent. He's like this, she's like that. I get to the office, I'm full of, and why are they in my mind? Who gave them the key to my heart? I want something from them. I want their approval. I want them to not be what I don't want them to be. So that you have to begin to track back and see that our relationship with negative human beings is not because the person can't be escaped. It's because there's something in me that I can't escape because I haven't discovered it yet. So many people everybody has hatred in them today. Groups set against each other, races set against each other. Let us be different. Let us use our life to become another kind of human being so that this world, God help it, has a chance. Because the only chance this world has is for people like you, BNS, and the subscribers, men and women, who are at least willing to listen a little bit and see whether or not what is said is true. Because if it's true, then there's great power behind it. And if you tie into that truth, you tie into the intelligence, the light, the love behind it, and you yourself become an instrument of that. And that's where our hope truly lies.
Yes, guy. Exactly. The way you said it, we want something from them, that we want their approval. That's
Yeah,
exactly correct.
yeah. It's painful, isn't it? It's so
Yes.
hard to figure out, but there it is. It's like in black and white. Let me live with that. Let me discover that. Then I can be delivered, quite literally, from a level of consciousness that's so divided. It, like Christ said, you cannot serve two masters. You will love one and despise the other. The two masters is this divided consciousness, this desire that on one hand can't stand him, but wants something from him at the same time.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you, Guy. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is another question that got repeated twice. Why why bad things happen to good people while bad people live healthily without any problems?
Yeah. First, I'll just say nothing bad happens to a man or a woman who can use that moment to discover the good in it. Nothing bad happens to any human being who can use that moment to find the good in it. What is the good in what I say is bad? It's not fair. I have this karma because here's this really evil person. He's got 3 Mercedes Benz. He's got all these people serving him. That's not right. I'm a better person. I should have a life as good as that person. This is the consciousness of ourselves. Can I understand that as long as I look at life as something outside of me that determines my value, then I will be a victim of every passing condition that doesn't match up to what I imagine I'm intended to have, so that I start to use those moments. How about being able to use jealousy instead of being used by it and turned into a man with a donkey on his back? If you're a jealous human being, you are being ridden by something that wants to ride you to your own ruination, because you will be forever pitted in your own mind what you think is against that person who's getting all the good and you're not. But what you're really pitted against is your own consciousness that has this image of who you are and how you should be. And you're not getting what you should get. So you punish yourself by looking at the world around you. Use the jealousy. When I have a moment when suddenly I feel a certain irritation, any kind of instant, how should I say? I like to play golf. It's my sport. I exercise that way. I hit a bad shot. There's an immediate reaction, an immediate negative reaction. I can't stop the negative reaction because I have an expectation, but I can use the appearance of the reaction to reveal the unconscious expectation so that I get freer and freer and freer of a consciousness that keeps looking for life to confirm the image I have of myself. Life is not meant to confirm the images we have of ourselves. Life is meant to reveal the images are the source of our jealousy, of our pain, and our sorrow.
Yes, Guy. Understood. Thank you.
Mm.
I'm having constant anxiety about my health despite being healthy. How should I overcome?
Yeah. I have a student who happens to be very wealthy. She helps me quite a bit. She's a wonderful woman. She's in her early 70s. I tell you, she's going to live until she's 3,000 years old because she can afford herself. She goes to doctors, with God as my witness. She goes to doctors 4 times a week and she doesn't have a problem. She wants all the healing mediologies. You know, she wants the constant healing and she can afford it. Why do you think she does that?
I don't.
She's terrified of dying. Now, if I go to the doctor 4 times a week because I'm afraid of dying, am I free of the fear or am I feeding the fear?
Feeding.
So actually, I'm dying. Exactly the opposite of what that mind is trying to do as it protects itself from what it imagines. So write this down, subscriber. There is no such thing as psychological fear or anxiety without negative imagination. There is no such thing as psychological fear or anxiety without negative imagination. The mind loves to imagine problems so it can be afraid of the problem it imagined. Then it can solve the fear that it created and spend its life with a solid sense of self, forever trying to rescue itself from something that it created itself but doesn't know it. This is what we must discover. Next time you start to feel that anxiety, look at what you are feeling and the image that's producing it, not downstream where you see yourself in a coffin because you've come up with some cough. People like that, and we're all like that, a hypochondriac. Have you not done that? You wake up, you go, oh my, what's this? What's this sore? Oh, there's a lump. Forgive me for this, BNS. We're all going to die. There's something in us that ignores that fact. So that instead of living to understand a consciousness that is immortal, which there is, we live to serve something that is already going to die. Let us learn to serve with our attention what is timeless and true, instead of letting us listen to a lie tell us what we have to do so we can invent our own immortality. It doesn't exist.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you so much.
Mm.
It's somewhat another nice, like interesting question. How to deal with people who expect everything for free, despite providing so much of value?
Mm. Stop doing it. Now, you know why there was a long pause of silence there? Because I'm afraid not to keep giving them. I'm afraid not to enable them. I'm afraid not to be what they want me to be, so that in my own eyes I can be the person that I want to see myself as being. Have you ever heard the expression, you give a person an inch, they take a mile?
Yes.
Well, stop giving them the inch. But you know why I can't do it? Because I'm going to be in pain. The pain I'm going to be in is they're going to think bad of me. So I would rather live with resentment and give everybody what I've got than to be a whole human being and simply say, out of true kindness, not just to them, but to myself, no, I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to do that for you. I'm not going to be that for you anymore. Now, on the other hand, if you see somebody and they're making a real effort and they need help, then give them the help. But stop helping them destroy themselves by destroying yourself, by living from a fear that can't be answered no matter how much you give away. We also look out at the world, like for instance, here in the United States, and we see the governments and they're just giving everything away, giving everything away for free, requiring nothing, which is, by the way, what is destroying the world. Everything giving. And how about me? Give me something. I want some of that, right? So a big part of that is recognizing that when you see people who are being given lots of things for free, what really is troubling us isn't that they're being given things for free, but that we're not getting some of what they're getting. I mean, at the heart of it, that's also part of it. Like you look out, you see people, well, what am I, chopped liver? I deserve some of this. right? Why just you? So jealousy is in there, but we blame everything else. Now I can go on. I wanted to cover all the bases.
Yes, because like the next question was like you answered it already, Guy. Like how to deal with jealous people.
Yeah, yeah. You deal with jealous people by understanding you don't deal with jealous people. I mean, a jealous person, here I am, and they're jealous of whatever it is. And I can feel them. I can feel them looking at scrutinizing me, judging me, and I can't stand being judged. I can't stand being scrutinized. What am I going to do with this person who's jealous of me? Nothing. What's bothering me isn't their jealousy. What's bothering me is my reaction to their jealousy. So I'm troubled by my own reaction. And until I understand I must learn to deal with that, I'm going to always be surrounded by people that are exhibiting behaviors that set me off. Let's use what sets me off to set me free.
That's so nice, Guy. Thank you. So
Yes.
okay, so I have been getting this question from a long time. How to avoid shyness in public?
Mm. Yeah, that's a big one. The world will sell you drugs. They actually have something called social anxiety disorder, which is a term made up by a pharmacology company in order to sell you a drug that numbs you so that you aren't alive anymore. If I'm shy, it's because I have an image of myself as being someone not worthy, not good enough, don't have anything important to say. I don't have what the other people have, so I don't measure up in that group, so that I'm forever in a form of self judgment. So we have to see shyness as a form of judging ourselves. Now we know that there's no end to judging ourselves because the more we give into that shyness, the more shy we feel. The more we avoid any circumstance where I might have to stand out for a moment in the crowd or be someone asked to contribute. I'm shy. I don't want to. It impacts my business. I go to work. The supervisor says, "Who will do this?" I'm too shy. I won't raise my hand. I won't get the promotion. Fill in the blank. So let me make an aim for myself, but it must be predicated in knowing the truth. I know that my shyness is because something in me is judging me. Let me challenge the judge. Don't try to be free all at once. Just find out whether or not the event that you don't want to go to is really as frightening as you think. Go to it. Spend 5 minutes there studying the judge, not studying the people you think are judging you, which is the shyness, but studying the judge in you. Learn about it. Then do 6 minutes. Then do 10 minutes. It's the same with any form of fear. Learn to test whether or not the fear is real. Here's a last thing the subscribers can write down when it comes to fear and shyness. The feel is real, the why is a lie. The feel is real, the why is a lie. Test it. Prove to yourself the why is a lie, and you will stop being shy and grow into your true consciousness, which is willing to absorb, take on, enter into everything because it knows it's just going to learn about itself through that event.
Yes, Guy. Guy, but I have a doubt. Like, how can they get such kind of awareness?
How does how does an addict stop taking drugs? She eventually sees this is killing me. I thought it was helping me. It made me feel good. It seemed to protect me. For instance, when I'm shy, it feels like I'm being protected. I'm not being protected. I'm being corrupted. So this awareness comes in proportion to a person's awareness of what it is that they are going through as a result of what they are doing to themselves. And when I can't stand it anymore, you wouldn't get the questions. No one would ask a question if they weren't troubled by the condition. So the trouble I have with the condition is the first key. Then I have to gradually grow dissatisfied with all the ludicrous answers the world offers. Then I begin to become a self-inquiring human being. Then I begin to develop awareness because at last I understand my awareness of this fear is not a problem. It's a solution to the problem of being afraid.
Thank you so much, Guy, once again for coming to the show and answering so many questions that you answered them so deeply that even if you answered a question, the answer has resonance to multiple things. So
yes, that's a good thing, isn't it? And then when we can feel that, we're like a piano, we're like a sitar. All the strings are vibrating. That's a good thing.
Yes, Guy. Thank you so much, Guy.
BNS, my pleasure. It's always a delight to see you. And whenever you want, you let me know. All right?
Thank you, Guy. Thank you so much.
Okay. You be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Subscribe to BNS Goku Great.